Locke Cunningham versus Brian Cunningham, Jill Cunningham, and the other occupants of 10308 Menchaca. So since we have several names in common, let's be careful with how we do this. Do I have someone first for the plaintiff, Locke Cunningham LLC?
Yes, my name is Carl Johnson. I'm the attorney representing the plaintiff. Noel Stout, also an attorney, is here representing the plaintiff as well.
Good morning to you both, Mr. Stout, Mr. Johnson. All right.
Morning, Judge.
On behalf of the first defendant, do I have someone here for Brian Cunningham?
Noel answer.
No one for Brian. How about for Jill Cunningham? I see a Jill Cunningham. Miss Cunningham, if you're here for this matter, 1554.
They're both here, Your Honor. I'm not sure why. They're both here.
It seems the internet's unstable.
Yeah. Hi.
Okay, I hear Miss Cunningham. I see a Brian Robert. Is that you, Mr. Cunningham?
That is me, Brian.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for both being here then. All right, Mr. Johnson, please tell me why the LLC is seeking this eviction.
The LLC is the owner of the property. Brian Cunningham and Jill Cunningham have been living at the property. There is no lease agreement. There is no agreement with Locke Cunningham LLC to allow them to live at the property. And Locke Cunningham LLC is selling the property and needs it to be cleared out so that they can sell the property. But they have no legal right to live there. They have no ownership interest in the property. We have given them the 30-day notice required under Chapter 91. We've given them the notice to vacate by Chapter 25, and they refuse to leave the property.
All right, Mr. Johnson, do you have any information about how the defendants came to be in possession originally?
It's my understanding they've been there for some years, and it was through arrangement. The properties, the Locke Cunningham LLC is a limited liability partnership with two trusts, the trust being of Brian Cunningham and a Patricia Cunningham. Brian Cunningham is, Brent Cunningham and Patricia Locke. Patricia Locke is the mother of Brian, Brent, and Brandon Cunningham. And so there was some familial arrangement some years ago.
So he was living at his mom's house.
It's not owned by its mother, it's owned by an LLC.
LLC, but his mom had it and she put into an LLC that she was the beneficiary of?
It wasn't even that she owned it at any point in time. It was owned by two trusts and then put into this LLC. And so there was just some family agreement that they could stay there at some point in time.
And that makes them tenants. Okay. So
But
they were there, they just had no agreement to pay rent.
No agreement to pay rent.
Tenants at
And-
sufferance. How long have they been there?
They'd have to answer that, but I think years.
All right. All right, but now landlords change their mind. They no longer want to have tenants. They want to sell the property. What day was the notice to vacate given?
The notice to vacate was sent to them on October 14, 2025, certified mail and regular first class.
October 14th?
The notice to vacate.
Are
The
you certain?
notice-
Because today's the 18th. If you gave them 30 days, how are we possibly here?
October 14th. This is November.
Yeah, here's my question. Mr. Johnson, you've got tenants at sufferance. So
Okay,
you're ending their lease.
yes.
Notice
But
to vacate, is that the time that you said we're terminating your lease in the month-to-month tenants at sufferance?
no, the notice of termination of right of possession was sent on September 3, 2025.
Okay, September what day?
3, 2025.
September, you tell them, we no longer wish to have tenants. How long did you give them to move out to vacate?
That was a 30-day notice by Chapter 91.
Okay, so 30-day
Subsequent-
termination.
Subsequently, I also gave them a 3-day notice to vacate after that 30-day period. And that's
When
the
was
3-day
that?
notice that was sent on October 14th.
That makes more sense. Okay, see, when you
Both-
said 30 days, I was like, it can't be a 30-day in October.
No.
You would not have time to file it and get here. That would have been a premature, but that makes more sense. So you gave them 30 days in September. They had not vacated. You then gave them a 3-day notice. Tenants remain in possession.
Yes.
All right. Because this is not one involving non-payment, this would not implicate the CARES Act, and there would be no amount sought. It's a possession-only matter. All right. Good morning, Mr. Cunningham, Ms. Cunningham.
Good morning.
Mr.
Morning.
Johnson,
Hi.
The owner of the property, an LLC, which I understand may be an LLC created by family members back in the day. I understand how that can go. And so what he's told me is that essentially for many years, the two of you have been tenants at sufferance. That's just a phrase that we use to describe tenants that didn't have an official formal lease and one that continues on a month-to-month basis. And there has been no obligation for rent. So this isn't a monetary thing. Mr. Johnson said that they gave you a notice, a 30-day notice of lease termination on September, and that in October on the 14th, when parties had not moved out, they gave you an additional 3-day notice. Is that correct information, Mr. Cunningham, Ms. Cunningham, whoever would like to speak first?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
All right. Well, with that, the landlord meets their burden for an eviction for we call this a holdover, because essentially they've terminated the lease, they said it's ending, and then you have not moved out yet. Can I answer any questions? Do you have any information you want to share? Certainly, we just try to point you in the
we're
direction.
staying here. We're staying here under a previous private agreement that's been recorded in Travis County. There was actually a verbal agreement between myself, Brent, and my mother, our mother,
For what, sir?
to be able to stay here until the property sold.
Do you have something in writing to show me that you have a lease that's ongoing?
I did send that, I did file that.
Mr. Johnson,
I
are
filed it with the
you all
court.
familiar with the document Mr. Cunningham's referring to?
I'm not. I have not received anything from Mr. Cunningham. I mean, to be fair, there was an attempted certified mail delivery to my office Monday. Nothing was sent to my email, to which I consented in the pleading, and I have not received
No.
that. So I don't know if that's what he's talking about. But
Yeah,
there's no agreement with the owner of the property.
Just one thing, Mr. Cunningham,
I sent,
I'm
I'm
gonna pull it up.
sorry, I didn't interrupt.
Let me ask you some questions.
There's a delay, I apologize.
When did you enter into this agreement that you're asking me to look at?
April the 22nd, 2020,
April 22nd of 2020?
2023. Actually, I take that back. It was the 24th, 2024. April 22nd, 2024. I filed it into the court. I also filed in on Monday the notice that I had served Mr. Johnson. There's actually a delivery attempt done on the 14th on Friday. And that was filed into the court along with the private agreement as well.
What did you file?
17.
So that shows that there was a delivery attempt done on Friday. And it said nobody was there to pick up the letter, the service.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
what year was this property put into the LLC's name?
2017.
All right, then Mr. Cunningham, I'm gonna share what you're showing, what you've sent to the court. I want to look through it again. I want to make sure I'm not giving any specific information for parties, and then I'll give you some answer. But I don't see that this is going to apply today. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Mr. Cunningham and Ms. Cunningham submitted this, and Mr. Johnson, I'm hoping y'all can see this. Give it a minute here. This is 7 pages. The first page says Exhibit C, true and correct copy of certified private agreement. Mr. Johnson, do you see this document?
I can see it, yes.
Okay, and Ms. Cunningham, Mr. Cunningham, this is the document you submitted to the court? Mr. Cunningham?
Yeah, are you looking?
Like it's a little,
And then
like
it's
it's my site. I can't.
this testament of Patricia House, the year of
Yep,
Jesus
that's it.
Christ, 2024, April 22nd. So what I see here is this is the page that Mr. Cunningham, I think, is referring to, Mr. Johnson. I'll zoom in a bit for it. But I can see that this.
That's recorded in Travis County.
42.
I understand that, Mr. Cunningham. This appears to be sort of a right to stay. I don't know, it's called a life estate. I'll let a probate attorney tell me what they think this says, but here's the reason, Mr. Cunningham, that this document does
Okay.
not convey any type of estate, that doesn't give you any rights, or that I can't use as something to
This
demonstrate.
is
that you have-
occupying the property, private property.
Mr. Cunningham, let me answer, okay? The reason this document doesn't prove anything to show that you have the right to be there is that this is an document. Well, no. Mr. Johnson, this one
Yeah.
actually does reference the LLC.
Yes,
So
but
this
it's,
seems to have been in full faith and effect.
this
It's
isn't a,
stamped and sealed from 2025. More importantly, it's notarized here and signed.
yes, there's a long history in the Cunningham family. I am the guardian of Patricia Locke's estate. Patricia Locke has been declared to be incapacitated. She is under the care of guardian of the person. The owner of this property is Locke Cunningham LLC. The members of the LLC are the Patricia Louise Locke Heritage Trust and the Brent Cunningham Heritage Trust. Patricia Locke individually does not have any ownership in the LLC, and there's nobody. Brent Cunningham, who's present here to testify if necessary, is the manager of Locke Cunningham LLC. There's never been an agreement with the owner of this property since 2017 for anyone to stay. And Patricia Locke is A, individually has no ownership interest, but B, she's incapacitated. So
I
these
don't
are,
need proof of that. Mr. Johnson, what I see is he's got something signed from all the way back in 2023. And he's been in possession with Miss Cunningham all this time.
well, Miss Cunningham, Jill Cunningham is his spouse, of course. Miss Locke didn't own the property in 2023. Brian Cunningham, throughout these a whole series of lawsuits, including eviction proceedings, makes up these documents and has his mother sign them, but they have nothing to do with ownership of this property or right to live in this property.
Your Honor, and I'm happy to pull up a copy of the order showing that Mrs. Locke was incapacitated. She has been since 2024, excuse me, it was 2024, yeah.
The document he just showed me is from 2023. So she had capacity when she signed that.
Well, she didn't sign as the manager of the LLC. She signed in her individual capacity.
I, as one of the original holders and still part owner and member of Locke Cunningham LLC.
Your Honor,
But
can
she
you put that document up? Because we got to see it for about less than a minute.
All right, here's the part that highlights for me. Especially this, I, as one of the original holders and still part owner and member of Locke Cunningham LLC.
And how was it signed, Your Honor? Right, she didn't sign on behalf of the entity.
Actually, I don't think I see a signature for her at all. Mr.
It's right there, Your Honor. Patricia Louise Locke, House of Cunningham.
Patricia Locke individually is not an owner or member of Locke Cunningham LLC. This is just a document that her son made up and had her sign.
Your Honor, we're dealing with this exact same issue on another property where Mr. Brian Cunningham has done the exact same thing for property in Manchac, where it's currently on appeal because he's gone in and is living in these properties and has no legal right to be there. And even if she did sign that and you claim that is on behalf of the LLC, well, Brent Cunningham is now the manager of that LLC, and he's provided notice that she has to leave, or that Brian Cunningham has to leave. And so
I did it that way. All right. Without getting into the veracity of the documents that Mr. Cunningham and Ms. Cunningham has shown, even taking that as true, the LLC still has the right to change their mind. And here's what I see is the LLC says they no longer wish to have a tenant and they've given you notice of a termination. There's nothing under that agreement that I saw, even as taking it as true, that has any consideration. It seems a little bit specious. So today I'm going to find in favor of the plaintiff. I will find that they've shown at least a holdover for a sufferance, a tenant at sufferance. I'm going to award possession only plus your cost of court. Does anyone, I'll ask Mr. Johnson first, do you have any idea what the going market rate would be for rent for a property this type?
Yeah, so the neighbor has a similar property and is in the business, I think, of property development. Brent has been told that it would be between $22,000 and $25,000 a month.
What kind of property is it?
This is 3 acres of land and one house on Manchac Road that's
Ain't
being
no way I'm
sold.
giving you $25,000 a month for 3 acres of empty land and a house. I don't
We
care what
have
that
no
developer says.
expectation that they're going to ever.
What's the
put
square
in.
footage of the house, Mr. Johnson?
Brent, what's the square footage of that?
1,700, 1,800.
Maybe 1,800 square feet.
Even in Austin's market, I'm not giving you 25 grand a month for a 1,700 square foot house on Manchac. I live on Manchac, y'all.
It's next
Ain't
up.
no way. Your property taxes are not going up because of that. Love that. Okay, it's 1,700 square feet. What year was the home built, sir?
What year was the home built?
1961.
Got a pool? Anything real fancy about this house, or is it a house on Manchac on 3 acres from
Next one was the
1961?
Pearl Noon to
Very old.
Your Honor, in
May I
looking at,
interject?
excuse me, in looking at the
Yeah,
report, the main area of the house is 1,614 square feet, 1,614.
All right, I'll set the appeal bond at $3,000. All parties are free to appeal. You have at least 5 days. Mr. Cunningham, do you have any questions?
I have a closing argument.
I've already ruled, Mr. Cunningham, but do you have any questions?
No.
All right, Ms. Cunningham, any questions?
No, ma'am. Thank you
All
for your
right.
time.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, any questions?
No, no, Judge, thank you.
All right, judgment for the plaintiff, possession only, plus or cost of court. Either party can appeal with $3,000. All right,
Thank you, Judge.
good luck. I mean,
Thank
I
you.
like Manchac. Please don't make my rent go up a whole lot more. Y'all have a nice day. All parties are excused. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.